Alright guys, the watch list for Thursday. I'm going to start with a cheapie, SGNL. A lot of volume today, 6 million shares, and popped up to whatever this was, 359. This is actually more volume than it had the other day when it went up to almost 6. Nice support below, so I want to watch this one for a continuation of the bounce. SGNL. RIGL, there's nothing that pretty here. I'm still focused on it. They had that collaboration with, I think, Bristol Myers. And since the gap up, switching to 15-minute candles, you'll notice it hasn't broken its early high. There's the early high of the gap day. The next day, about 30 minutes in, it put in its high. This morning, it put in its high pretty close to the open. Seems to be holding the 310 area. So I'm just going to put it back on watch for a potential bounce play. This is one of those that if it, in the afternoon, all of a sudden you see RIGL hitting the new high of day ticker, it might get a nice move. So 15 million shares on the gap up day, all the way down to 1.2 million today. Just goes on bounce watch. GTLS had it on watch today, never did anything with it. But this 3 million share day, and then just a quiet, look at that. I mean, there's no action at all today. But this is another one. If it can start lighting up the new highs ticker in the afternoon, that's worth a look. Doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. CHGG. You'll notice the theme of all of these are recent volume, right? And so I'm looking for a second move. CHGG, huge breakout. Then today, much lower volume. Again, 5-minute candles here. Well, let's go to 15s. 15s. Put in its high at the open. I think it, maybe an hour into the session, it briefly took out the high and then just straight sideways. You see that action a lot. If this would have come back up and taken out the high in the afternoon, you have a good chance of a nice move. So just have recent passionate stocks on charts somewhere and you can get a nice trade, especially if you got a group of people looking for setups. Now this one, I never did trade it on this huge move here from whatever it was, 60 cents to 260. Now you're down 3 days in a row, hit the 8-day. Just like the others, I want to watch this one for a possible afternoon breakout. Go. Nice breakout today. I liked the chart going into today. Instead, it gapped up. And I don't even think I traded this one today. You can see how choppy it was. I know when GoGo got down to this, I think the only time I even mentioned GoGo, because right out of the gate, it took off. And so it always felt like chasing. Plus, at the open, I was focused on morning gap plays. Okay, so the only time all day that I mentioned GoGo was after it broke the high of the day and came back down. I typed into the chat room, GoGo back down to support here. And it did bounce from there, fairly nicely. And actually, I thought in after hours, it looks like it's at 1805 right now. So I've seen that a lot lately. Something that's really strong and just can't get going and can't get any follow through. And then after hours creeps up. We saw it yesterday in EYES. Where am I? Oh, I feel weird having this one on watch, MBLY. But this might be a double bottom here. This one really moves nicely when it moves. The daily chart, let's go back to the daily real quick. There's nothing pretty here. But you just can't help. If you trade every day, you start to notice this thing. And it started to get a pop right here today. And a lot of times, it just, when it does start to move, it really moves. So I just want to have this one on watch. I'm looking at all these different time frames, and I'm having a lot of trouble falling in love with it. But this may have been a double bottom. So you'll notice that, let me scooch back a few days on 5-minute candles. I mean, here's an example. There was the early high this day, and then when it got through, it pretty much ran the rest of the day. So back to the daily here. It did take out recent lows, which was 35. It went down to 34.80 today. Chopped around, but then look at that nice move off the bottom. So I do want to watch this one. Again, I almost feel silly talking about this because it's not a very pretty daily chart, but just keep it on watch because you'll be surprised. Sometimes it makes really nice moves. So again, nothing pretty about the chart there, but CSLT. All right, this one just got killed the other day and then bounced and then looked kind of like, before today, it looked kind of like a bear flag, like it was going to roll back over. But then today, a decent little pop. Now, again, not a pretty chart, But, and I don't know if FinViz is right. I went to that site, FinViz. Let me see if I can find it real quick, just so you don't think I'm making this up. CSLT. Slide this over into the screen. Look at this right here. It says 71.98% of the float is short and only a 13 million share float. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't look at this and think shorts are in any way, shape, or form in trouble, right? Look at this. Shorts are making a killing on this thing. But with that high of a short position, maybe they're overstaying their welcome here, right? After this flush down, and that float short percentage of the float that's short, that's not new. It showed that before the gap down. So you can't help but think that may have been it. And you can see today, and I didn't trade this one today, but you can see today got a really nice move from like 710 all the way up to 745, and really kind of see it really kind of got that upside shape, pulled back and finished strong. So 15-minute candles here. What was this high back here? 744. Okay, then on today's bounce it went to 744. Isn't that interesting? And then closed strong. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and throw a line on my chart here. 745-ish. Might just continue this thing higher. In a lot of times, a stock after a gap down like this will go into a range, and after that big day down, it's so far it's held the bottom of that range of the gap down day, so it might be ready to go up and at least revisit the top of that range, which is $8. And with that many shorts, you look at the daily and you say, hey, Mike's a moron for watching this long, but I just showed you my reasons. And again, I don't just jump in long, right? We'll wait and see if we can get any kind of decent setup. So DGLY, had this one on watch today. Again, this one really has to have news. I'm hoping that the chart is kind of telling me it's a precursor and there's news coming. I'm also hoping that news comes intraday, not in the pre-market. But I talked about this a lot in last night's watch list video. Nice job of holding the 200-day here. Then you had this spike here, flagged another spike, and it went all the way up to 1434, and then put in a red day, and then another red day. Let's switch to 15-minute candles. This looks really good to me. How many shares was this? 681,000 shares in the opening 15 minutes a few sessions ago, and that's a lot for this stock, and that took it up over 14. And now you've got, it went down to 1160, but now you're starting to put in higher lows, and there's also kind of a lower high over 1260. You would think that this might just push through 1270, which was today's high, and maybe start to get going. Speaking of low float and a lot of shorts, let's go back to FinViz and I'll glance at this one. DGLY, 2.6 million if that's correct in the float, and 25% short. Okay, so even though when you look at this daily, you think, what the heck is he looking at? A lot of this is obscured because it had such a crazy move from 4 to almost 34 back here that it kind of scrunches all this together and you can't quite see it as well. But when you zoom in, you see very nice support here. You can see the pop a little better, the flag, the gap up, and you can see it kind of turning, ready to go back higher. All right, so again, DGLY, I'm trying to at least explain myself because a lot of people probably say, why in the heck is he watching that one? Kite, K-I-T-E, trying to break out. It's really holding this area pretty well after a really nice move back here from whatever, 45 to almost 90, lower high. But it's really holding this area pretty well. Had a spike a few sessions ago, red candle the next day, and then today strong again. A really nice move in the middle of the day. Of course, a lot of biotechs, ripped midday today because of, I don't know, some news on some stock. But I do like this one, and it really moves nicely when it moves. 67.50 was today's high. That's an area to kind of keep an eye on, and only with a proper intraday setup as well. Otherwise, I won't be touching it. And also something like an LL, and then I'll stop the video here. you probably ought to have something like this on watch. This thing went from 70 bucks down to 50. And sometimes, you know, shorts just get a hold of something and you can't catch a bounce. I didn't trade this once today, but you can't catch a bounce all day. And then a lot of times, you get the overnight. It's kind of, the overnight's kind of like a reset. And then the next day you can get a decent bounce. So this may be overdone. I don't even know what the news was in this one. But I think it's worth having LL. And it had it bottomed out back here around 48. So it wouldn't bother me if this gap down sold off for a bit. I still might look for a reversal after that happens. Might be people chasing it short. Are there any questions? I see a few people in here watching me make this video, so I will real quickly ask and see if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up and send out this video as my watch list in the email. Five, four, three. Okay. Doesn't look like it. This really wasn't meant to be a Q&A session anyway. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and I'll go ahead and put this video out in the email tonight. See you guys tomorrow.